What happens when the greatest minds of Google get together to come up with new ideas? Project Glass. Get the full scoop in this week's stream.
Do you like outer space, explosions, and government espionage? See what we thought of the new film Lockout later in the episode.
And lastly, we traveled all the way to Anime Boston to get a glimpse of the largest anime convention in the Northeast.
Find out what happened there and a whole lot more in this week's episode of The Uplink.
Welcome to the Uplink. This is your place for everything video games, tech, and movies. I'm Steve Selnick.
And I'm Marion Mason.
So Marion, you had quite the weekend.
I did.
For PAX East. You were at PAX East.
I was.
Which was
I
a lot
saw
of fun.
you.
I saw you a couple times.
It was a lot of fun.
And you were dressed up like an engineer, a female engineer.
Yes, a female version of the engineer from Team Fortress 2.
Team Fortress 2. And you took a picture with this guy here on the screen looking extremely under the influence of something.
He was very nice.
And that picture actually made it to the top page of Reddit for like the entirety of PAX East, which is really cool. For those of you who aren't applauding, you should be, because that is really cool.
Thank you.
And with cool pictures on Reddit come with even cooler comments.
I knew that was coming.
And we pulled a couple.
Oh,
the first one was about your friend Chris, who was dressed up like a blue spy as your the counterpart, the spy behind you. And someone said, Adam Sandler is a spy? Which is great, because
he looks very similar.
Like Happy Gilmore Adam Sandler, yeah. So, and then the other one was, I would erect a dispensary for her, if you know what I mean.
It's a Team Fortress joke.
Nerds.
Nerds
But now
everywhere.
it's time for the web recap.
Our first video proves that even a player in a management position can slip up every so often.
Introduce dark holiday from Tombstone. Step to the spot, leave the whole room blown. That bed style killer coming from the Brooklyn.
Ooh, they shot him after. Actually, for a second when he dropped the mic, every single white person in the room thought they did something wrong. Every single one,
yeah.
all two of them.
Unfortunately, right after his performance, he was arrested for running an illegal prostitution racket.
It's the hat. It's a dead giveaway every time. I just want to know who invited the Teletubby with a goblet.
Oh. I mean, I think he would have totally held on to the mic if it was, you know, like a Twinkie.
Fat joke.
Well, next up, we've got a prank that went wrong in the best way possible.
Grab the card. Ready to go. Grab the card. That one, right? Okay, got it.
Tell me the card right now. What is it?
Six of spades.
I want you to visualize what the six of spades looks like, okay?
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
You're darn right it is.
One more.
What?
Check it out.
We have a bucket of water already prepared? I'm gonna hold it up here against the take the broom and take the bottom of it. And
now I'm gonna make the water disappear. Actually, I'm not. You actually
that's the end of the trick. That's the end of the trick.
It's kind of ironic that he was wearing like green pants, because he actually turned into the Hulk right after that and killed all his friends.
Everybody. That guy was a dead ringer for Jonah Hill's character on Superbad.
It's the same
Dead
person.
ringer.
Actually, next time they're gonna up the ante and fill the entire bowl with hydrochloric acid. See how that goes.
Fun fact, that's also his O face. Figure it out. And finally, we have proof that Anderson Cooper is in fact a normal human being.
What?
And here's how you celebrate Dingus Day.
The quirky little rituals include boys sprinkling girls that they fancy with water, and the girls striking back with a tap from a pussy willow branch.
I don't know what he's laughing about. I sure do love a good pussy willow.
In his defense, that's the absolute dumbest holiday I've ever heard of.
The dumbest, but you can never get mad at me for sprinkling water on your head and ever again. ever again.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But now
I mean, we had more jokes for this, but I was really just concerned with how good he looked in the video.
And speaking of silver foxes, it's time for the stream with Bree Baxter. Ooh. Take it away.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure if that was a compliment. Hey everyone, I'm Bree Baxter. Today is Tuesday, April 17th, and here's what's coming in on your newsfeed. Google has announced their latest work in progress called Project Glass. Google's new eyewear offers an augmented reality, allowing wearers to manage their lives right from their eyes. They released a video last week highlighting some of the possible features, but are asking the public for more ideas. Don't expect to buy the glasses for Christmas, because Google officials say these are only a prototype and may not be available for many months, if not years.
Cool. Take a photo of this.
Hey.
You want to say something cool?
Google will begin testing the glasses in public, so if you see someone who looks like they're from Star Trek, they're probably just an Apple employee. Big-time cosplayer Jessica Negri was asked to leave PAX East this year, not because she was making a scene, but because she was dressed too sexy. Negri was dressed up as Julie Starling from Lollipop Chainsaw. She was asked to change outfits by PAX East officials because she was showing off too much cleavage. Obviously, all the PAX goers had to be told what cleavage was. Rumor has it that the official suggests she wears a sweatshirt for the remainder of the show. And Sega is reporting a loss of 7.1 billion yen, or $86.6 million this year. Sega says they need to, quote, streamline organizations in the field of video game software in the US and Europe. This means they will have to cancel some games that are already in development, but they haven't said which ones just yet. Sega will only focus on their strong titles such as Sonic, Football Manager, Total War, and Aliens. Mark Zuckerberg has announced that Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion. They are paying in a combination of cash and shares of Facebook. In case you don't already know, Instagram is a free mobile photo sharing app that lets you put filters on photos and share them with your friends. Instagram is one of the fastest growing social media outlets, growing to 14 million users in just over a year, and now 13 million users. The San Francisco startup only has 13 employees. That means each employee will get roughly $70 million. Not bad, huh? Well, I'm Bree Baxter, and this stream is over. Back to you guys.
Thank you very kindly, Bree. Now it is time for Real Talk, and this week we sent our movie expert, Phil Rosenberg, to see Lockout. Let's check it out.
It's the world's most secure prison because it's not on Earth.
Mr. President?
There's been a massive takeover on MS-1.
My daughter is on a goodwill mission on that station. There's only one man who can get her out. Who? Snow.
The gravity generator will hold you up.
You gotta trust me on this.
Really?
Let's hear it for Phil Rosenberg! Yay! All right, man.
Thank you.
So you went and saw Lockout. Yep. Sci-fi goodness. Mm-hmm. What were you thinking going into the theater?
Going into the theater, I kind of saw it as a Con Air in space, because it's like the guys taking over the spaceship, the prison, and I enjoy Con Air.
It's the second time you've referenced Con Air on this show.
It's the second time I've referenced Con Air. I enjoy Con Air, but some people don't. But it was like Con Air.
It was like Con Air.
Yeah.
I mean, was there? So it's kind of like Con Air, but it obviously has its differences.
Yes,
what did you enjoy about Lockout?
I thought the explosions were awesome. I mean, like, that's what most people are gonna go see this movie for, like the explosion and like all the spy kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I thought they definitely did that well. There was one point where there's a scene where he's on a motorcycle in the beginning of the film, and it just seemed like they were like, oh, we forgot that we had this scene. Let's put a couple thousand in there, and it just looked really, really crappy.
Interesting.
Like
yeah. And you were saying something before about an attractive female lead, which never hurts.
She's very attractive.
The lead female character is attractive.
She's very attractive.
If you want to go see explosions and hot chicks. So things that you didn't like about Lockout necessarily.
all these movies are starting to blend together. They're becoming very, very cliche. The guy in it, it seemed like the part was written for like Hugh Jackman, but they couldn't get him, so they got this guy. Like, he seemed like a 2-bit Hugh Jackman.
Okay.
Like, if Hugh Jackman had a stunt double, this is the guy who they would have put in for him.
All right, so out of 5 stars, what are we giving Lockout?
I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 stars.
3 out of 5 stars from Phil Rosenberg. All right, well, that does it for Lockout, but another sci-fi remake, reboot, don't know what to call it, kind of want to say reboot because it's a robot theme, but it looks like we're going to be getting a new RoboCop.
Yeah, it's
a new RoboCop.
It's not so much a remake, it's more of a like reinterpretation of it. It's going to be, they're going to be talking about RoboCop when he becomes RoboCop, like from human to a robot, making him into a robot. They're talking to Edward Norton for it. They're talking with like Sean Penn for it.
I like that. I like that a lot. Exactly 2 people in the audience know what RoboCop is, which is funny. But so, anything else going on in the movie world? I know you went and saw Detention a couple times.
Yeah, I saw
and you really
Detention twice this weekend. Yeah. Most people don't know what it is.
No one ever is going to know what it means.
It's horror, sci-fi, every kind of movie.
Thank you, Phil.
So good.
So kindly. Thank you so kindly. Well, it's time for our first commercial break, but when we return, Matt Regan will be here with his review of Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Say that 5 times fast. Don't go anywhere. Let's hear it for Matt Regan. All right, Matt Regan. Yeah. Oh, we got some more applause from that one. Cool. So, Matt, we had you play Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, officially the longest title in the franchise's history.
Yep.
What did you think about it?
I'll be frank, I did not like it.
Did not?
No.
No.
No. Whatever. Played Mass Effect 3 last week. It was tough to come back to this one.
Right.
So, let's see. Well, first playthrough, the first thing I noticed, like other Resident Evil titles, they kind of just throw you into the story that's very complex and difficult to understand, but then they don't explain anything, so you're just kind of like, whatever. So moving right into the combat, combat was awful. They did not have any bullet placement, so it was like you could kill a guy by shooting him 12 times in the elbow, but then it also took 12 bullets to the head to do the same amount of damage. So that was really terrible.
Okay.
And the AI was just stupid. They didn't work together. They didn't make it challenging. It was just hordes of bad guys, and they seemed to have this algorithm that was like, stand out in the open and shoot for 8 seconds, then hide behind a box for 5 seconds, and repeat. So there was really no challenge to the combat other than there being a vast array of men for you to shoot, and you have no ammo, which you can't pick up from dead guys. You have to switch out guns entirely, which is a little silly.
Just rambling's a bad thing, so I think the rating that's coming up is going to be no surprise. Out of 5 stars, 1 star.
1 star.
Boo. Operation Raccoon City, 1 star. Can't say I'm surprised, but on to video game news, and we've got something very exciting because this just happened today. It was just announced and confirmed today. Halo 4.
November 6th.
November 6th of this year. I literally shiver with excitement every time I hear that date. It's so soon.
November 6th.
November 6th. Stop. I'm going to have trouble on air. So what does the Halo franchise really need to do to keep people interested, to keep Halo as fresh and as good as it has been?
Well, I'm a huge fan of moving on and new beginnings. I think, honestly, they need to take all previous Halo titles and just kind of put them on a shelf and start over with a brand new story, with a brand new race of bad guys to shoot at, new vehicles, weapons, new everything.
Everything. I couldn't agree with you more. Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you for coming out and reviewing a terrible game. I'm sorry that you had to follow up Mass Effect with that one.
Stuff happens.
But now it's time for Hackers, where we will learn how to install a personal web server on your Mac.
Don't you hate it when you make an adorable video of a cat that you want to send to a friend, but they don't believe in Dropbox because they think it's some type of government plot to steal our information? Well, maybe it's time to man up and start your own web server. Basically, a web server is a computer that stores information that can be accessed over the internet. For example, a web server can host anything from a personal website to a file Dropbox. Setting one up on your own can be very difficult, but we found a streamlined process that makes setting one up on your personal Mac a piece of cake. The first thing you have to do is go online and install a piece of software called MAMP, which can be found online at their website. MAMP stands for Mac Apache MySQL PHP. Got all that? No, you don't. While that's downloading, let's take a look at that name a little bit. Mac is the operating system, Apache is the web server software, MySQL is the database software, and PHP is a popular web programming language used by the majority of websites out there. The Linux equivalent to this, LAMP, or LAMP, is a common core setup for many web servers. Installing MAMP on your computer will get you started on most of the basics. Now that MAMP is installed, you'll need to change some settings to get it running properly. After opening the program, we're going to head into the Preferences panel. First, set the ports to the default Apache/PHP configuration. This changes the route through which your web server is accessed from different computers. Now, from within the Apache tab, we're going to select the Site Root folder. Essentially, this folder is where your website will live. It's where anyone that tries to access your web server is going to be taken to. Unless your visitors are semi-skilled hackers, they won't be able to see outside of this folder. Here, we just made a demonstration folder on the desktop. At this point, your web server's core is configured, and you can see what it looks like by heading into your browser and going to 127.0.0.1. However, if you want to be able to access your server from computers other than your own, you need to grab your IP address. Head over to Terminal and type in ifconfig and hit Enter. And within the list of network interfaces, locate your IP address. Write it down. Now, from within anywhere in your current network, computers will be able to go to this IP address on their web browser and see what you have going on in your web server. You can set up a website or simply drop files here so they can be downloaded with ease. And if you've got administrative control of your network's router, you can set up port forwarding so that computers all around the world can visit your web server. Voila! You are now a man and a web genius. Feel free to fight the power and continue sharing videos of cats in peace.
Thank you so much, Walker.
I liked it.
This week for our app review, we've got a handy little toy called Paper. And basically all it is Moleskines for your iPad. You can have as many little notebooks as you want, and it's just kind of a stylus tool application where you have all of these pages. You can have as many pages as you want, and doodle, take notes. I think it's really, really handy for something like a forum class, something like that, where you either want to take notes or just doodle the entire time. It's really fun. You know, you get like different colors. You can do pretty basic stuff. The only kind of bummer is that it is a free app. However, if you want to get any other brushes besides the very basic stylus, you have to pay for them, which is very, very strange, and I don't think it's really worth it to pay for extra brushes for something like that.
$8 too, just to like be able to paint stuff.
I think it's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little bit up there.
It's fine as it is with the stylus. Nice little toy to play with.
The app's free. You can draw in some fake Moleskines, and it really looks like they're catering towards people who just don't bring paper products with them anywhere.
Yeah.
They just go everywhere with their iPad, and
you can have unlimited notebooks
that's what
and everything.
You do. Yeah.
And one of my favorite little Easter eggs here is that you can actually customize all of the little.
So while she's doing that, it's time for our second commercial break. But when we come back, we have Blaine Howard, the content executive from GeForce XPlay, live in the studio via Skype. Stay right here.
Please welcome to the Uplink, Blaine Howard.
Yay, Blaine, there he is. What's up, man? How's it going, dude?
Hey, Blaine.
I can't see you.
Can't see us?
I can hear you, but I can see you.
Okay,
I
we'll go.
As long as you can hear
take
us.
hearing for right
Why
now.
don't you tell our audience
Steve,
a little
Steve
bit?
probably looks so pretty. He's probably got such a nice outfit on.
Blaine, I told you we can't do this in public.
You
I always
too.
disobey the rules. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
We're doing
Can you
really
tell
well.
us a little bit what XPlay is for our audience?
Sure. XPlay is television's #1 watched video game show. We've been on the air for 10 years. We air in 177 countries, including Australia. We're on the Armed Forces Network, and then we air weeknights at 6:30. We have previews, reviews, gameplay footage of all the best video games that are out there, and then we have some of the best leading experts in video games, Morgan Webb, Adam Sessler, and Blair Herter, along with Kristen Adams as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll definitely get to Sessler and Blair and all them in a little bit, but what is your role within XPlay exactly?
My role is fun and interesting and weird all at the same time. So my title is XPlay Content Executive, which actually does explains everything, but I need an explanation. I book all of the content for our show. So anything that's not review related, because I don't handle reviews, so I can maintain a little bit of niceness with all of our companies. I don't do any reviews, but we do our previews, our exclusives, anything that goes on air that doesn't have a review in it or a score, I put together. So that includes events, anything like that, which now is our big time because we're headed into E3 season, which is like our Super Bowl.
Yes, you are.
Thank goodness, the best time of the year. It's Christmas for nerds.
Yeah. What's like the most fun and rewarding part of your job?
Well, honestly, I know it sounds super cheesy. I get to work with some of my best friends every day. Like Morgan and Blair and Adam have become some of my really good friends. And then coincidentally, everything about this show is awesome. I jumped into something that was my passion. So I've been a gamer for a long time, and I stuck with it, and I continue to go down that hard road every so often where you weren't making money, but still you were making video game content. So
and now you're the #1 show.
There you go.
Yeah, well, we've been the #1 show, but I'm the #1 guy. Well, not the #1 guy.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us.
Yeah,
it's really been a pleasure.
Yeah,
my pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. And now this week, Claudia Max stormed the halls of Anime Boston. Let's see what she found, if she made it out alive at all.
Sorry Claudia Mack couldn't be here. I'm Tifa Lockhart, and we're here at Heinz Convention Center for Anime Boston's 10th anniversary. So what happened to your arm?
Well, I fell and I tripped.
How'd you make your automail?
I actually have a full arm. I'm not wearing it today, but it is a flexible foam.
These two are a couple of our best sellers. Were made by our in-house artist Alexander Rosenberg, and we have our own printer now, so we do print our own stuff, and we also take orders for printing too. The name of our company is 80 Rosenberg Printing.
Can I crank the screw? I'm sorry.
Yes, you may. I don't know, it's an interesting place. You meet people that you don't see anywhere else.
Yeah,
we actually saw Mr. T. I don't know if you've seen him walking around, but he's got like these big skull shoulders, and he was like, we need like him, a couple of Deadpools, and the Power Rangers over there too. We all got into like this play fight thing. That was actually really fun. They got it on tape. So it was, yeah, that was fun.
So I made a pair of goggles just like these. About almost a year and a half ago, and I was wearing them around to a lot of cons, and people kept asking me if they could buy them. And I was like, all right, I'll try. And then eventually I just decided to just start making them to sell them to people. So now I have like my goggles here in red and blue. I made new ones here that are green and gold that are kind of like you could use if you're like a Link steampunk cosplay.
We call ourselves H2YK. It's a combination of both of our names. But we've always been looking for a way to kind of create our own figurines because we have original characters that we do figures for.
So cool.
And then there's characters that you can't find figures for.
But you are Tifa.
Yeah, Tifa Lockhart.
You totally outshone me.
Yeah.
Can I see her? That's so... Never mind. I don't have powerful gloves. So what is Crunchyroll?
Video streaming service, sort of like well, basically we just have apps on all sort of devices, so you can watch anime wherever you go.
I do mostly illustration. I'm actually a freelance illustrator. So in my free time, I love drawing fan art and coming to anime conventions, meeting people, talking to people. Mostly what I have on my table, it's at the time, Adventure Time, My Little Pony, and Digimon and Pokemon.
It's been an interesting adventure, and we've noticed that there's just a little bit of everything here.
So the convention was full of tons of creative cosplay, talented artists, and lots of cool vendors. If you missed out this year, be sure to check it out next year. Back to you guys.
Hey! Well, for some odd reason, people still think Twitter is cool, so, or Twitter is cool, thinks 3D movies are cool, so Titanic 3D is in the theaters, and Twitter is kind of a buzz about that sort of thing.
It is.
Yeah, so we're gonna just read one quick tweet that we really enjoyed, and it's Charlie Bobs, with 3 S's, says, "Is it bad that I didn't know the Titanic was real, always thought it was just a film?"
Yeah.
You're very bad. You go back to 4th grade.
I actually
Awful.
saw a lot of
Yeah.
tweets like that, but
that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of a magical ride this season. Give it up for Marion.
And give it up for Steve.
Thank you for everyone coming out.
Thank you for our cast and crew that made the show possible every single episode. Thank you and good night.
Good night, everybody.